I'm getting a lot of questions about the third eye and how to do it. And as I've said over and over, there are many techniques. It happens to everybody naturally. Balaam said, all that the Father hath given me, I lose nothing, but I raise it up at the last day. That's why it happens to you on your deathbed. That is your last day. The Bible, when you pop your third eye and when you come into this knowledge, you can read that book and it's a different book. It's like watching television. I can't bear a lot of the way they do it, but embedded in all of that is truth you can't see because you're blinded by the light. You're blinded by this light. In Genesis, in the evening sunset and the morning sunrise were the first day. Well, isn't that night? Indeed it is, but you've been blinded by the light. They've told you day is night, night is day, left is right, up is down, east is west. That's why we are me and me is we. They divided us into this duality of sun and moon, him and her, us and them. To have the single eye, to have the third eye, you're able to see within. Balaam told the priest, you don't go in and you don't allow them to go within. They made prayers out so everybody could see it. He told you to go in your closet, go within. It will eventually happen to everybody naturally on this planet because that's what the zodiac is about. That's what it's all about. It's one big story of how we all had the third eye. We all fell. A few kept the knowledge and enslaved the rest of us. But we come out of that. And there's nothing they can do about it. They try to just keep you in the lower chakras with fear. It's a stage. Everything is staged because it's the script. And they flipped the script. The scribes scribbled the scriptures, the true script, and made it scriptures. But the true script is in the heavens. And it is that alchemical wheel. It's the story in the heavens. It doesn't, once you pop your pineal gland and you learn this, how to walk in the kingdom, you can watch television and it's a completely different story. You block out the violence, the sexuality, the gore. You turn off the lower chakra. You're in control of it. That adrenaline don't flow. And you listen to the words. You see what the pictures are saying. The words are saying one thing, the pictures are saying another thing. It's what's in the background. It's the little thing. The deed is in the details. And they pay attention to everything. And they know exactly how you will react. You see, you're acting. You're an actor. And they know how you're going to react. So they push your buttons, your chakras. And they push that button. And sometimes those buttons are pleasure buttons. And that pleasure becomes addictive. Because it takes away the suffering here. We're all suffering. We're suffocating. We're smuffocating. We can't breathe anymore. They've got us under so much pressure. But that's what it took me to pop my pineal gland, was that pressure. Like I said, it's done many ways around the world, but in all ways, it's know thyself, control thyself. It's about stop letting the chakras rule you and you rule them. It's taking advantage of your cross. Let it be for a cause. We've all come here to learn, and then we're tested. Because they can't just let anybody in. You keep recycling into this paradigm over and over and over till you find yourself. Star Wars. Luke Skywalker goes to meet Yoda. He's fighting his demons. And then he goes within the cave. There's Plato's cave, going within. Seeing the shadows. And then seeing yourself. It's Holy Mountain, going on the great journey. You get to the top, and you find yourself. And what did he find? He found them sitting around the table of the zodiac. It's the King Arthur story. It's every story you've ever been told. Disney gave it to us this way. Boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy finds girl. That masculine and feminine coming together as one. If there's the zodiac itself, if you put Saturn ruling Aquarius and Capricorn in the east, and which is actually our understanding of what north is. They give us north by Polaris, that north pole. That's what they do. That fixed star that don't move, so they call that north. Funny how north, south, and mouth all sound alike. East, west. That west has the W. It's the magic symbol. The evening and the morning were the first day. Not sunrise to sunset, but sunset to sunrise was the first day. And that's not a 24-hour period. And then you're blinded by the light, the sun. You're in confusion. Leo, Babylon. We're all sun worshippers. So let's talk about stargazing. Because this is how we all get here. We all get here through the sun. We're light beings and we travel on light, and he's that transfer station where it occurs. He channels light. And the frequencies that he channels from the constellation that is in power. You have red sun, white sun, yellow sun, black sun. The four colors, the four ages, the four elements, who's ruling. Right now we're going through what they call the white hot sun. And it's almost blinking as it goes between ages. A lot of times, if you understand what standing waves are, you send the same frequency back to shut that wave down. The enchanting, the Tibetan monks, which wear red and yellow, they are patriarchal. Yellow is the sun. And they do Om, which is the sound of the sun. So they're sending a standing wave. It's not coming in harmony with, it's a standing wave. And then that signal cancels out. Bringing the two together to make one. Then there's none. The dark crystal. The one group that's part self, they're all fighting over power, waiting on this event to happen to see who's going to be in control. They're all the greedy, fleshy side, what I call the Jupiterians. But the Saturnalians know what's going on. And they're coming to meet their other self. The spiritual ones are coming to meet the worldly ones. You can put it this way: the church and the state. And they have to come together. They've been divided in this country, and we've been told that's good. But we need to find ourselves. Everything will come together. They've told you there can be only one. When you do pop your third eye and you are awake, when you're starting to come into this knowledge, you are aware of the conspiracies and the plot that is occurring in the script when you watch the TV. That's their black box. You have your own. Why are you watching theirs? There's a lot of knowledge in there if you know this languages, how they speak to one another, the truths that are being told to only those who have eyes to see. The others are wrapped up in the entertainment and the pleasures of it, and then the conspiracy theorists, they're all bitching about it. They're all fear-mongering. Again, keeping you in the lower chakras, the same as the pleasure. They're pulling Jupiter and Mars on you. That action, reaction of Mars, those desires of expansion and more from Jupiter. The two together is just a case for addiction. So, I've been asked, where do I find books? Everybody wants books about what I'm doing. Where do I get this? I don't get this from any books. There are no books. The only thing I have to defend it is its accuracy and how symmetrical it is. How it actually explains everything that's ever been written. It comes from oral tradition that's never been written, and symbology. It's written in symbology. You have to learn that language. You have to know what these symbols mean. And when you watch these propaganda stations that are evoking the lower chakras, they're giving you the wrong meaning of those symbols. They're telling you day is night. They're making you afraid. And that is the number one thing that keeps you from popping your pineal gland. Fear, hatred, anger. And then the number two thing is desire. Desires of the flesh. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. He told the woman at the well, you should have asked me for water. For I'd have given you water, the water of life, you would have never thirsted again. Once you drink from that well, you know there's nothing else. There's nothing else. And why do we stay here then? Because that's the only way the light stays here. It's within us. Good and evil only exist in two places on this planet, and that's in the hearts and minds of men. Our voices, Mercury, are just an expression of that. But our heart is a living thing. We know. We feel the pain. We feel that emotion. It expresses itself like none of the other chakras. Love reigns over all. It is the most powerful. But hate, those lower chakras are damn powerful too. And they control you. Anybody can control, any chakra can control Mercury. He's mutable. He rules the mutable cross, mutable earth, mutable air. So Mars can evoke him, and out your mouth can come horrible things. Jupiter can invoke him. Jupiter likes to tell lies to get what he wants. He's the bully on the block. That stomach, you have to feed it every day. And it just wants more and more and more. It's the bottomless pit. It's never full. But then there's the heart. And it's got 4 chambers. That's where the blood goes to be cleansed and pumped through the body. It keeps everything going. But it's all controlled by the upper house, the brain, the mind, Saturn. It's all connected. It's within you, it's around you, it's in everything. It's that life force. It's something electrical, and it's conscience. And we can walk in that kingdom. We are the sleepers. A lot of people are using this word awake, wake up. In the script, what we're told is everybody's asleep. And when we wake up, we either wake up one of 2 ways, to everlasting life or everlasting condemnation. So if you're aware there's no death and you have everlasting life, then you've woke up to that knowledge. Otherwise, you're still in confusion. Have you seen yourself face to face? It's like looking in a mirror. Do you know how they always do the movies, and when you look in the mirror, you're scared? Dracula looks in the mirror and he can't see himself. He's a vampire. He's a parasite. He feeds off others. These are bankers, right? They don't do anything. They just take other people's money. That's what they do. They've enslaved the whole world that way. They're very lazy people. These illuminated ones, they always have been. Look what they did. They took in the Kenites, who people call giants, right? And they got them to doing the work, and then they gave the script off to the Babylonians so that we could all stay in confusion, and the bankers do nothing. It's the butcher, the baker, and the fucking candlestick maker. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. And they've been doing this for a long, long time. It's called the game of empires. It's not the game of thrones, it's the game of empires. Game's over. Game over. Game over when you pop your pineal gland. Everything points to it. They've talked about it forever. Religion is the big lie. Religion is legion. It's just Legion Part 2. Redo. Redo Legion. If you're going to use the prefix RE, you should put DO in front of it. I mean behind it. Redo. You get to remodel. You redo the model. What is the model? The model is your house, right? That's the model. We get the word modular from that. Also modulation. Understanding language. I can't stress how important that is, because that's the way I found it, which is Mercury. I had to completely understand Mercury, which led me into Hermetics, because that's where language came from. Language, Mercury and Gemini, and the age of Gemini was where we got the alphabet. And it was initiated, and in the age of Taurus, symbology died. They killed it. They hid it. They lied about it. They flipped it. They scripted it so that we wouldn't know. But we're all going to get to know soon enough. I have no books, actually, that I can recommend to you. When I do your charts, I give you, at the end, in the video, I always send you links. One, a bunch of astrological and symbological symbolism, so you can learn what those symbols mean when you see them, to not be fooled by them. And then I send you 4 books. One on lunar astrology that came down in the age of Gemini. And then I give you stellar theology that came down in the age of Taurus. And then I give you Kabbalistic astrology, which was given in the age of Aries. And then I give you Christian astrology that was attempted to give in the age that we live in now, Pisces. But what I'm doing is Saturnalian astrology. It's bringing it all together, but in its purest form, wiping away those traditions in the scripts and just leaving the pure alchemy behind it, and how it affects you above, below, within, without. It's your cross to carry. It's your burden in life. Don't you want to know what it is? Most of us have been nailed to the wrong cross. We're paying, being nailed to the wrong cross is paying for the sins of somebody else's sins on another cross that you don't deserve. Why are you doing it? You ever wonder, why did this happen to me? I didn't do that. Well, have you been hanging on the wrong cross? That's kind of how I look at it. And what do I mean by that cross? It's a mindset. When you find yourself in the heavens and you find yourself within, you are your own cross. You meet you. And then you becomes we, and we becomes me. The duality comes into singularity. And then you're immovable. How did the Nag Hammadi put it? Those from the, it's unfathomable, those from the unshakable race. They're light beings from the unshakable race of men. It's not about blood. It's not about color. It's not about sexuality. It's not about masculine, feminine. It's about that unshakable race that's none of that. You're divided all over the place. Pull yourself together into that single eye. Walk in the kingdom. And others follow you by example. There is no book you can write this in. There's no tongue it can be told in. It must be experienced. Mercury and those who can channel Mercury have sought for the ages for that word to describe it. There's none. That's God. There's no words. How can I tell you? People have been painting pictures for thousands of years that just put you in awe at the beauty. But that's still not enough to describe what this is like. It was euphoria. E equals mc squared. And then square that. And then square that. It's like pi and phi. It's infinite. It's without end. And that's where we're all going. It's what we all want. It's where we came from, and we miss it. Don't you feel you didn't come from here? You don't belong here. What's wrong with this place? What the fuck's going on? Why am I here? You only, at that point, you really only understand one thing. And you said it with your own mouth. Why am I here? I am. It's the I am. It's the knowing. Not like the script that they flipped. You could easily say, am I? To me, this is the fake world. It's like we're in a dream. Some people call it the Matrix. If it's the Matrix, then none of this is real. What are you afraid of? And instead of releasing you from fear, it dropped you into deep fear, conspiracy, hate, anger. You're coming from the lower chakras. And when you work with that lower chakra, channeling it through the heart with hate, it makes your heart black and sick. It makes you sick. It doesn't do a damn thing to the person you hate or the thing you hate. If anything, it empowers it because you're channeling your energy that way. You're empowering that Mars energy that we're channeling on this planet. That Jupiter energy we're channeling on this planet. That's why they told us, and they damn sure lied, that Jupiter is benevolent. They pick and choose. In one phase, Jupiter is. In another phase, he's not. He's divided. He's divided between himself. He's divided. It is divided. Femininity in water in Pisces, and fire and masculinity in Sagittarius. It must come together. And it's divided within us. If you really wanted to bring two together, a woman's chart should be opposite the man's. And would they produce the third child? Your Jupiter in water, his in fire. It'd be nice if all the planets could just be in Capricorn and Aquarius. Or everything in Aquarius. All of them. Moon, Pluto, Neptune, everything in Aquarius just lined up. That is the first and the last day. That's before everything was divided. But to me, this is school. We're here to learn. A lot of people think it's the carnival and we're here to play. You pay to go to the carnival. Nothing's free. The only thing that's free is frequency, frequency, frequency. And that comes from above to below, then within. When you talk about stargazing, be careful because the sun is channeling an energy from whatever constellation it's in. That's how the alchemy works. If you want to target the pineal gland, you sun gaze when the sun is in Aquarius and Fomalhaut is on the horizon. If you want to sun gaze. Otherwise, when you sun gaze in other constellations and other stars, especially the four fixed stars, Regulus, Antares, and Aldebaran, it's actually Aldebaran, but I speak to you because most of my audience is here because they understand English. So that's the language I'm going to speak to you in. But the ancient tongues reveal the truth, especially when you know enough of them and you understand what they did at the Bible Bibble Babble. Then you can read right through it. Then it doesn't matter what you watch on television. You see the stage, the Hegelian dialect problem reaction solution, but you don't let it anger you and you don't let it upset you. You watch it and you go, what is it they're trying to achieve? How can I let that not entrap me? And maybe warn a brother or two, but not in fear, but in knowledge. You got to know the ledger. Knowledge, know the ledger. I wish there was a book, but if you want to learn this, it's going to cost you everything if you really, really, really want to know. And do it the hard way like I had to do. 50 years of studying this, looking, knocking, searching, asking. And I come back to the same place I was in my childhood. I'm coming up on my second Saturn return. He's already returning it to me because I knew the truth in the beginning. And they tried to program me. And I was told, truth is here, and truth, this is truth, and that's truth. Let me tell you about truth. This is what they did to truth. They call it the body of Osiris, and they cut it up and spread it in pieces around the world. Everybody got a piece. So every one of us has a piece of the truth. But we need the truth and the whole truth. They found all the pieces of Osiris's body but one, the phallic. So they created a false one. This is a false phallic that they have set up, and they've got the whole world worshiping it. A false phallic. The phallic is Aquarius. It's that beam in the eye that goes straight to the pineal gland. They set up a false phallic and called it Egypt. But it was really Babylon in disguise. Are you hearing me? Do you see the symbolism through the ages? Can you see it in the zodiac? What they did when they resurrected Babylon and called it Egypt. The Greek gives it away, and the Arabic really pulls it all together. And it's all in the names of the stars. The story's already been written. We were told the end from the beginning. When you say the word end and beginning, that's Saturn, time. Time rules all things, even Jupiter, even Mars. Time heals all things. Ecclesiastes, there is a time for everything under the heavens. A time to laugh and a time to cry. They don't tell you about the time that you're neither laughing nor crying. That too has its place. Whoever this Solomon was, this solo man, single man, the single eye. Proverbs and Ecclesiastes are the two finest books that were ever written. If you can read it, if you understand it in hermetic and symbolic terms, not in language. Because we don't know how to read. We've never been taught. We don't know how to see with our ears and hear with our eyes. A world that's going on around us. Actually, I see three worlds. I see the world that the world lives in, that the people, what's going on, the systems. Then I can see the world I live in, where the birds and the trees talk to me, and the wind and the stars speak. And then there's their world, the one they live in. And they're afraid in there. They're terrified they're going to lose everything. They're afraid of death. They're afraid of losing power. And what they fear the most is the shame. The shame they're going to have to face. When they have to face themselves. Because they're all going to be forced to do it. Everybody is. That's why I've been so strong on Pluto and Sagittarius. Taking out those old ideologies so that you don't manifest your nightmares. So there is no shame or condemnation when you really do wake up. We're just in the dream talking to ourselves. And even when you do wake up, where am I? How did I get here? Just like you do when you're in the body. That's how I was. I landed in the body. I'm like, how the hell did I get here, and why am I alone? I was a we, why am I a me? I've never been separated. I I lived through the separation of myself. I survived it and I remember it. And I was nailed to the cardinal cross. All I can do is share my experiences with you and try to find words to explain to you. That's all I can do. But it is your journey. It is your cross. And you must bear it alone. You must separate yourself from everything and everybody. And false teachings, all of these false teachings. Look, had Christianity been correct, don't you think that problem would have fixed over 2,000 years? If Judaism, their calendar started 6,000 years ago. When you talk about times and world ages and all these dates, like Islam is 1,600 years old, and Christianity is 2,000 years old, and Judaism is 6,000 years old. These are numbers that are given by lodges. When a lodge is created, when they create a new Masonic lodge, they start their lodge at year 1. That's their first day. That's the beginning for them, whatever year that is. If it's based on the Christian calendar or based on the Judaic calendar, it's all about calendars. When you read in the Bible about changing the times and seasons, you're talking about they changed the calendar. There's only one calendar, and it's in the heavens. And all other calendars are null and void. They don't count. Your calendar begins the day you were born. That's year 1. You don't even complete it until the first year. You're still 0.1, 0 point whatever, 0.1 up to 0.11, and then you become a 1. Did you hear what I said? Up to 11, K, and then you become a 1. Pulling them all together. They're all divided. Saturn's pulled together in Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn is the only one that's not divided. And then they flip-flop between the masculine and the feminine, between mercy and severity. But Saturn is one, third eye. If you want to focus an image, focus the images of Fomalhaut and Saturn and bring that single eye. Be careful about sun gazing and remember the channeling the energy of the stars in the constellation that the sun is in. And you better know those stars and what they mean, and whether they're masculine or feminine energy, and what planets are in that constellation when you do it. You want to target your chakras? Use that same information. Take control of your chakras. When they come into your first house, you can use sun gazing to do this. You can use meditation. You can go above or within to bring it all together here, right now. This is bigger than any book that could ever be written. It's just a knowing. And we're going to have a whole age of knowing in Aquarius. And then we're going to have a whole age of doing in Capricorn. We're learning now. We're in school. We've been lied to. Now we're coming into knowing. We're going to wake up, pineal gland, come into knowing, move into Capricorn, and go into doing. And that's cardinal Earth, Capricorn. That's the sign of let there be. So that one there, we're going to bring the Earth to what this circle is all about. And it's apotheosis, the philosopher's stone. Becoming gods, becoming creators. That's why we're called the sons and the daughters of God. But in all religions, in all the scripts, The scribes scribble them, and they make the people stay in the lower chakras of anger, fear, hate, resentment. There's only 2 trees, and then the hidden one. And when you eat of that one, you don't need to eat of the other 2 trees. You don't need patriarch or matriarch. You see the duality of it, the bipolarism of it, the chaos of it. All right. I hope I've answered your questions the best I can. I'm sharing. I struggle for words. I really do. I wish I could explain it better than I can. But I have to, excuse this expression, but damn, I have to dumb it down. Because you don't understand alchemy, you don't understand hermetics, you don't understand Greek, you don't understand Latin, you don't understand the vowel. And so that makes it difficult. We don't know how to read. I'm just learning myself.